Welcome everyone to another edition of Independent Artists Unite song series. I'm super excited to have the international group Ceremony Shadows here with us tonight to talk about their song Altar. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Of course.
Hello.
And it's Anastasia, Timo, and Jakob.
You got it.
Or Jacob, sorry.
Or Jacob.
Yeah, as I was explaining, I go straight to Jakob being in Denmark from. But are you from Poland, Jacob?
Yeah, I'm from Poland.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So they say Jacob there or
They
Jakob?
say Jakub. Like it's
Jakub.
a little
Okay,
bit
Jakub.
different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This touch
Okay.
that you. Ooh.
So how did this international meetup happen? I know originally it was just you, Timo, doing like an ambience thing, right?
That's right. Yeah. I started Ceremonial Shadows as a solo ambient project, and I've actually known these two for a decade at
Oh,
least.
really? Oh, cool.
Just socially, we travel in the same circles and
Yeah.
the same music, so we've been friends for quite a while. And I remember just asking Anastasia to come over and do a little bit of vocals on one of my tracks. It was a really ambient track, so.
We were agreed studio musician only. We were never going to perform.
Right. We were very shy. We still are very shy. So, in the safety of the basement here, we started recording things. And then one time she sent me something and she said, "Oh, I had Jacob do some vocals on this track." And I listened to it and I was like, "Oh my God, this is like a whole nother level." Like it added so much to it. And then, as they say, one thing leads to another. And, they formally joined the band, and it's made an incredible difference to what we do. So it was fantastic for them to be there.
Oh, that's so cool. And this is your home studio here? That looks fabulous.
Yeah, thank you. It's the studio, it's the rehearsal space.
Yeah.
It's like whatever needs done happens in here.
Wonderful. That looks like a dream come true there.
Kind of is.
It's beautiful.
And let's talk about I'm sorry, was it I'm sorry, my brain is not so great. Is it altar or altars? Altars. Okay. Let's talk about that. But as a lead into that, like much, or if not all, correct me if I'm wrong, of your songs have this spiritual component or in the lyrics, or even religious maybe. Where does that all come from? Is that something you've all agreed on and say, hey, this is kind of what we want to explore and talk about? Or talk a little bit about that.
Why don't you start on that one?
So,
Yeah.
during COVID, my dad died, and I believe it's really weird, but I think he released my soul. My dad was not a good person, but he's dead now. So praise all is the all. Anyway, but I write in these little notebooks, and ever since my dad died, I started writing these notebooks, and most of it is like this weird, I guess it's religious stuff. I was raised with no religion, and I was always very kind of like militant, like there is no God, like God is dead, like whatever. But now all of a sudden it's not like God, because I don't believe in a God, but it's just the universal everything. Like we are all one sort of weird hippie stuff. But it just started coming into my brain one day, and so I started writing it down, and then that's where I get my lyrics from, is my dance floor journal. So
yeah, well, it's interesting to me because I have to talk a little bit about myself. The show's about you guys, but I have to say something about myself.
Please do.
Because I really respond to the lyrics. Is that almost 5 years ago, I had a heart attack, a full heart stop. And my heart stopped for 40 minutes.
Wow.
And when I came back from that, I was super drawn to these channeled texts. And this is what this reminds me of. It sounds like what you're talking about too, is these psychics or mediums, or
I believe it is channeled information that everybody has access to.
Yeah, yeah. I
That's where I live.
totally believe in that. I totally believe in that too, because I was just like drawn to these channel texts, and I started following this um one in particular, and he had a Zoom meeting like this one night, but there was like 3,000 people, right? And then you were allowed to ask a question, and I was the third person that got to ask a question. So
What did you
that's
ask?
well, I asked because I of course I had a near death experience, but I can't
No, but
remember
what
anything.
did you ask him?
I asked him what happened when I
Ah,
died. Yeah, yeah. And he started channeling, from these people, the guides he called, these entities from another dimension. And so they said, what happened with me, which was basically that I left the body, and that I decided that there was more work, soul work to do. So I was oh, how did they say it? It was like a very specific word about coming back into the body. I'll probably remember it later.
mm.
But anyway, I have a bit of brain damage too, so I'm like the worst talk show host in the world. But
You're doing a great job.
Yeah.
um, yeah, but so I was like reinstated in my body with new soul work to do,
Mm.
and with a new set of basically like a new set of
Purpose.
principles on the
Yeah.
way to live my life in a new way. And
Right.
and
You were born again.
it was so, yeah, basically. And it
Yeah.
was so dead on. I was like, the hair was standing up on my arms. I was like, I just like totally froze, and I just knew that that was exactly
Mm.
right. You know what I mean?
And maybe
So
that's bullshit, but I'm sure you came back with a purpose and a drive in your life that you didn't have before. So even if it is made up, it's placebo and it works great.
yeah, I'm all for placebo. If because I don't even have the
Placebo
energy
or
to
God,
question
same
it
difference.
anymore. Yeah, yeah, placebo. Yeah, but it's very interesting too, like what you're talking
Oh
about
no.
in altars about this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but some of it sounds like this is kind of where I'm at too. Is like you talk a bit about. It's almost like I feel like that Anastasia, in the beginning, when it's almost like you're talking like as a human, and how we can worship each other as humans, and then it's kind
Mm.
of like Jacob comes in with like almost like as a spiritual presence,
Collective.
to say it can
Yeah.
also be like this.
Mhm.
And I thought that was really cool, because I was like, I mean, all these relationships I've had in my life, I'd be like, if this song was on, I'd be like, come on, honey, they're playing our song. I mean,
Well,
everything
oh,
has been like worshipful. I mean, so intense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I like
I
to just
really
say it's
find
like a
it
love letter from
interesting.
the divine feminine to the divine masculine, basically.
Oh, really? Oh, that's so
That's what I see
beautiful.
it as. This is like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
we all have both in our in us. We are all both female and male. It's
yeah,
all
Yeah.
energy. Um,
yeah.
but when you are in love with somebody, or even like when you're dating somebody, you're like usually we use words like put them on a pedestal. It's all
Hmm.
about worshiping, like the idol worship, but you're not actually seeing each other until you can get to the divine love of just recognizing that you are part of me.
Mm,
It's kind of like the contrast between like the desire and the sort of like horniness of love, and then the
mm,
wanting for unity and like
mm.
just finding oneness and remembering your
Yeah.
oneness.
I,
Yeah.
I really believe that you're channeling these texts, because
I can't claim it.
it
It
sounds
is.
it sounds so similar to like these these guides that I
There's only
I
one
follow,
God.
because they're
It's everything.
yeah, they also talk about like on the other side, after death, that we are energy beings that have no sex. So it's
Yeah.
like that's part of why we chose to have this human experience, is one of the parameters that we give ourselves to learn, is to choose a sex like this or something.
It's just existence in polarity. You have
Yeah,
to have a
yeah,
male and female in a dualistic. We live in a dualistic world where black and white and gray, and like
Yeah. Yeah.
we have to be seeking the middle,
Hmm.
but you have to
yeah.
explore both sides to find middle.
Yeah, yeah.
Free.
Yeah, well, I love this stuff. I love that you guys are exploring these themes and stuff. But how was it, Timo? Like when you were doing this ambient stuff, and then Anastasia comes in with this, he's like serious, serious stuff. Were you like, wait a
Wow.
second, are we doing this?
Oh man.
You know, one of the things I love about working with both of these is that when I start writing something, it's very much in my own head, right? You have an idea and you sit there and you write music, and you don't really realize its potential once you actually collaborate with others, and they bring something to it that might take you into a very different path than what you had imagined. But one of my goals is to be really open to that, because I know that in the end, the combination of three creative minds is going to be more interesting than just one creative mind. And I really, that's sort of how I approach the collaboration. How do you feel about this, Jacob?
Well, just speaking to that, what happened with Altars, I think, just is a perfect example of it. Yeah, when we were working on Altars, you guys
You did a lot of
recall.
pushing.
Well,
That's
but
good.
we got to when we're making the last part. We all of a sudden turned it and talked about this gospel aspect to end it and to finish it off with. And I think Timo wasn't expecting that at all. And it came way out of left field for him. But that's the excitement for me, is to be able to, try the new things and explore grounds that we haven't stepped on. That goes with my spirituality, is to actually experience the experiment and be there, like, with every moment of change.
Be the victim.
And that's what,
in the world.
oh, what's awesome about being in a band. Scott, you've been in bands, right?
Yeah, but I've had a range of experiences. I mean, I was in bands in the 90s in New York City, and I was like a horrible, lead singer, band leader guy that was like on every drug imaginable, and it was just I mean, it was like a fascist dictatorship, so that was horrible. It was horrible for them.
Pain.
It was horrible
Those
for
were
me.
the
Yeah, it's horrible for me, horrible for them. But it's interesting,
Sure.
man. I when I started, I went a long time without. I couldn't write music, actually, because it was just a big it was a big mess, and I was actually scared. I was scared of it, actually. Once I got clean, and sober, and everything, and kind of started a new chapter. But it actually was after the heart attack too, where I realized, oh, I need to make music again. I thought it's like, it's similar, like when you meet musicians on Instagram, and then I also met all these heart attack people, it's like my tribe of heart attack people. And a guy had a very similar one to mine. He was like, yeah, you just have to, stand there and be like, I'm alive. And what would I regret if I wouldn't, if I wouldn't still be alive, And one of those things for me was music, that I wouldn't, like the cliche line of don't die with your music still in you, that was how I felt about that. And so I just started making music on my own, but I'm just have a collaboration now, like you guys are talking with James K. Ultra, Pain in the Ass. I don't know if you are familiar with him, but we have that kind of beautiful collaboration that you're talking about too, where it's just no one's really in charge. Everyone's open to ideas, and no one's putting their foot down or all, and it's just like this organic, flowy thing that's like so beautiful, and the most beautiful ideas come out of that, because you feel so safe with each other, right? You guys must feel very safe with each other and trust each other a lot, especially to explore these kind of topics, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think I don't want to speak for anybody, but I have some out there
Sure.
ideas, and some other people in the band have some more not conservative ideas, but just sort of cautious ideas. And I like
Okay,
to
yeah.
I like to shock and instigate. I'm like, I know you hate astrology, but like this song's all about astrology and it has to be in there.
Yeah.
Well, a little bit of rubbing up against each other is good, I guess.
It's
You
good.
find the line with each other.
Everything that happens is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
I
no
always
lesson.
say that the most interesting things happen at the edges. I
Mhm.
think that's
Oh, yeah.
true in culture and society, right? Like if you look at what's going on in the shadows and the edges where things kind of like bump up against each other and rub up against each other, like that friction,
Yeah.
that creates interesting stuff.
It's the hottest and the coldest.
Mm.
That's right.
Right.
The
Yeah.
ceremony in the shadows.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay.
So how did Alter specifically come together? Did you in general, do you start with a piece from you, Timo? Like do you have like a fully realized musical piece and then you say, okay, go to work,
Yeah.
guys?
You know, it's funny you put it like that because I usually I usually put something together which I consider, you know, at least some structure and something that can stand on its own.
Mm.
And so many times what we end up with like barely has anything to do with what I put out there initially.
Yeah.
And I find that is super fascinating. Like that's
Yeah.
probably the funnest part for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Just kind of see, like it's almost like you put this little seed out there,
You're just pollinating us.
and yeah, we're just
Yeah.
pollinating, and it's like,
He's
what
pollinating.
weird fruit is gonna
Yeah.
grow on this one?
Mhm.
And that's kind of how that happened, and that's kind of what happened with altars. I don't even remember. Like, you guys remember the first thing I sent?
The original thing?
The
Yeah.
original
It was
thing?
almost an ambient song.
Yeah, it's pretty much an ambient
Almost an
song.
ambient
Yeah.
song. So yeah, it gathered a
And
lot
now it's a gospel.
as it rolled down the hill.
I
Yeah.
think it's
For sure. And
And
yeah.
then, so when you had your, like so you go in already having all of these lyrical ideas that you've possibly
my-
channeled. Right?
I'll listen to whatever he plays and like
Yeah.
I just look through my notebook because it's like everything that I've been thinking about for like the last month or so,
Mhm.
however long it takes me. And I'll just, as I'm listening, like little parts of lyrics will jump out and then I'll say
Mm.
them to Jacob and he'll start
And
kind of like,
I'll-
let's go on this whole Wikipedia search about this word.
And I start doing a historical search
It's great.
about
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So we do quite a bit of research for songs.
That's so
Uh,
cool.
We do try to look into the things we're
Double
thinking
meaning
about
as much as possible.
and I mean going back to like the spiritual side of
Mhm.
it, I think for me in particular, and I know I think for all of us, it's also a cultural thing and something that has grown from the past and grown on our knowledge of life and everything. So yeah, I think it's for me it's important to actually look back and to investigate what we're talking about, because we do want the things to connect with people at large, and globally.
I think I want to share a quick little anecdote about Anastasia and the little notebook that she carries.
Yeah.
So when you see her out,
I love Anastasia and her notebook. That
when
I
you
just
see her
want to say
out
that
on the
out loud.
dance floor, like
Excited.
she literally will be at on the dance floor dancing,
Taking
notes about whatever comes
Well,
in her mind.
You know.
And I think that's just like so awesome. I've never seen anybody do it, and that stuff ends up, transmogrified in our
Like
stuff.
this thing right here is about authors. That's where I write all my lyrics.
Yeah, but too also, I mean, what Timo makes spurs the ideas in many ways. We get a lot of the emotion, or at least the direction of a song from the energy that he gives us. So
yeah.
And Baron, but many of my children.
And so if you're so you have your lyrics and do you start laying in, like in it for altars, did you lay in your vocals first and then Jacob said, oh, I have this idea about me coming in this way? Did it happen like
I'd
that?
have to say, I guess Anastasia is really wonderful with finding mantras, and those mantras kind of become the umbrella of the song.
Yeah.
Many of our songs are like this. Not to say it's all, and not to say this is the only way we work, but she's very excellent at it.
Mm,
And so we, you know, that becomes a great anchor for then me to just start building off of. And then we start doing each other's lyrics too.
Mhm.
So, you know, by the end of it, we're really touching each other's words on all sides.
mm,
And yeah, creating a whole new puzzle out of some of them. Yeah. And
That's why
then
we call
even
it second
actually,
music.
so, and I should say, we have in the last, with the last few, brought them to Timo, and Timo's put his you know, input into it. And in regards to how the lyrics are actually fitting with the music and how they're speaking together as
Mm.
well. So yeah.
I think one of the reasons why we make such a great team is that I'm German originally. English is not my first language, and you know I know my limits. Like I would never dare to write lyrics; they're just not going to be great. But when these lyrics emerge and come together, one of the things that I like to do is just kind of listen for. I try to listen to them almost not as words, but as a
Mm.
musical instrument.
mm,
Then sort of the feedback I give to them, like I can't tell them how to be a vocalist or how to be a lyricist. Like I don't know how to do that. But what I can provide is sort of like a musical perspective on that. And then that oftentimes, you know, it's usually just like tiny changes, but I think
mm,
those little changes just help things really gel.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Mhm.
think, you know, with this band, and this is the first time I've been in a band like this, where, you know, we have two vocalists and then one person that's pretty much, you know, in charge of most of the music.
mm,
Uh, and that two vocalist aspect, you know, all of a sudden you become in tune with what the words are doing and
mm.
sounding like and how they're getting molded. And yeah. So it becomes almost like in the end, like more than other projects I've worked with, it's like we're actually sculpting the vocals.
It's a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes, you know, you can have,
But
Yeah.
visually
It,
sculpt.
it's also really cool because of the way your vocals really contrast each other. You know, like Anastasia is like it's you get this like breathy kind of ethereal vibe and da da da, and then when your vocals come in, Jacob, it's like whoa, like is he saying something? Is he giving orders? Do I need to do something? So it's really like it's really a great contrast that plays off each other as well.
Oh, glad you felt that effect. Thank you.
I'm wondering
want it to be sort of
because
menacing.
of the nature of these songs that you do, like do you ever like are you ever like having a bad day or something and put on one of your own songs to like give yourself a spiritual tune up a little bit?
Mm.
You just,
Do you
I don't want to go
you
first.
wanna do it first?
Who wants to go
I mean,
first?
I can't.
you go.
Oh,
I
fine.
have, but
Yeah.
I didn't think I was doing that.
Mm,
Like, I definitely have had a day I've had a bunch of days actually since we started this band that have been definitely tough.
Hmm.
And when I do turn it on and get into it, yeah, I do come more to life. Yeah, for sure.
yeah. So
But
there's like an embedded energy in there
Mhm.
of or embedded spiritual energy.
Yeah.
And that's one of the, I mean, it's sort of not related, but one of the things that I have started noticing since I've been having this weird journey of like downloading brain is I don't like to listen to music that has lyrics that if you're singing in them, they're like kind of degrading yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like that's what
I also have that
yeah.
same thing. Yeah.
It's like I want to make music that's dark and like shadowy, but it's also positive. Like
Yeah,
I don't.
I'm doing the same thing. In fact, it's a world premiere. My
It's
album
good.
coming out.
Excellent. Nice.
My album.
Hey.
I have an album coming out in July that, and I never said the title before, but it's The Light Dressed as the Dark. Because
Nice.
I realize so many of my songs are like that. Like I have to write about this spiritual experience and like awakening that I'm having, but it's all dressed up in these goth, you know,
Well,
or
it's like
at least dark synth pop.
goth people are
goth
usually the
rock.
people who've been like just like hurt so much that they want to present this exterior of like being like, don't fuck with me, I'll kill you. But they're like, it's because they have so much softness inside of them that they're protecting. So if you see
Yeah,
a goth,
yeah.
you just tell them that you love them and that they're beautiful just as they are.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
The colors
Yeah.
are on the inside.
Yeah, yeah. But I was I've had that conversation with other people too, where it's just like, I used to write songs that were so angry and this and that, and I just can't do it anymore. And there's like more, there's more to be angry about than ever, I guess. But it's just like, I guess you get to a point where you're just like, I have to do something positive, in the
I just
midst of
wrote
this.
sappy, sad love songs, and then I realized that I wasn't looking for love. I was looking for wholeness in myself and trying to project, the
Yeah,
wholeness of myself on other people. I'm like, I don't need somebody else to complete me.
yeah,
I choose to be around you if I like you. I like
yeah,
Jacob a lot.
yeah.
Oh.
I like Timo a lot. But they're my partners in creation.
Yay.
Yeah. Wow, that's beautiful. Well, I just love what you guys are doing. And you said, did you say on I don't know if it was on Bandcamp or on Spotify, this is from a forthcoming album you're putting together?
Yeah,
Tracks?
yeah.
Oh, when is that coming out? Or do you have it?
We're shooting for sometime this year. It's a little hard to project. We're doing a couple of live shows this year that we really want to dial in. But the goal is to finish the album this year, and gosh, how many songs do we have now? 5 or 6. It's pretty much done.
And then one secret one.
Yeah.
2 secret ones.
Secret.
Secret.
Oh gosh.
So,
But we've already inked out on another one's gotten out there since, right? Guys,
Yeah.
Impetus is also going to be on the album,
right.
which is one that we've let out there. So what, 2 are out there?
Yeah, yeah.
And are we letting that third one out?
Yes.
I think so. I think the
wanna-
takeaway is, well, yeah. Why don't you talk about it?
Wow, why don't we talk about it?
Because you know the deets.
Yeah.
When's it coming out, Timo?
Well,
Our next song.
well, Scott, you got a
Say
preview.
Oh, I gotta. This, I tell you, this is the best thing about doing this show. Once in a while, I get these, I get to hear things before anybody else does, and I love it. I love it. So I love this song. I love the song.
Being
Yeah.
announced right now.
That's right. Yeah, and that's all we're gonna say because it's not gonna be out till April 11th.
Well, we
So-
can
Okay.
Now it's all gonna be a big secret, I think.
Okay,
Tune
so
back into this channel.
can I say something about what I heard in the song, just musically, or no?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Because to me it was like it was less of the ambiance and more a little bit towards not I don't want to say it sounds like Depeche Mode, but it's more in that direction than
I
from
love
straight
Depeche Mode.
ambient, right? Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's got a little more groovy,
Yeah, we wanted to write a dance song, or I wanted to write a dance song when I first came up with it, because most of our stuff comes from that experimental ambient corner. You can't really dance to it, and all 3 of us love dancing. So I'm like, probably write something that
Yeah.
people can dance to. So
We
that's the
want
one.
to play our songs at the club, and then
At
I'm
the
like,
club
oh my
and
God, don't play that song. It's not a dance song. And then it's really awkward, and I'm trying to
Well, I don't feel that way.
You never know. You may
dance.
create a whole new dance genre where people are moving very slowly, and with notepads, with notepads.
Yeah, clear the spider webs out of the room.
Well, we're coming up on a half hour. Zoom cuts me off at a half hour. I used to have the pro Zoom and I would talk to people for like an hour and a half, but now I'm keeping it to a half hour. So, well, yeah. Oh, you know what I wanted to mention, because this may be my brain playing tricks on me, but I saw that you guys just celebrate 1,000 followers on Instagram, right?
Just a few hours ago.
And I think I saw, I found out about you because of the piece that Renee did in Nocturne Zine, right? Or a post that he did.
Right.
And so I followed you guys. And if I'm not mistaken, I thought you guys had like 300 followers then. Is that right?
That's
We
probably
were-
right.
So that's amazing growth in a short
Yeah,
period of time.
Maybe.
Yeah, so
It's
people
crazy.
are really,
I mean,
people are jumping on the Ceremony Shadows train here.
That's what it seems
Yeah.
like. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. I mean, it's just so great to put something out there that people seem to be interested in, and you know, it spurs me on to be better and you
Yes.
know, create better art because now I feel almost like a responsibility. So I think I try
Yeah.
to get like a positive energy out of it.
Well, congratulations. That's wonderful to have that kind of growth. And I think it's, you know, in no small part just to the positive energy that you all have and the relationship with each other and the kind of you know, message that and creations that you're putting forth, you know. I think it really matters.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, I'm looking forward to what sneaks out next. And when it does sneak out, please come on the show again and talk about it. As
We'd
I
love to.
really enjoy you guys. You're all delightful.
Thank you.
Thank you
And,
so much. This
talk
was
to you
great.
soon.
Scott, thank
See
you
ya.
for sharing
All
some of your
right.
journeys
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Bye. Take care.
Cheers. Bye.
Oh, whoops! What did I do? I hit the wrong.